Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be doing a colour along. I've not done a colour along in such a long time, but it's going to be with this PDF. Now I have coloured it. I've pulled out the page that I did a couple of years ago at this point, and this is from Mariola Budek's set of art. Now I did go on to her Etsy store and I purchased the PDF so I can print it out and colour it as many times as I want, Now I will just mention this book doesn't come spiral bound, it's a mixture of PDFs and set of arts, and there's all sorts in here. I've got a couple of whips that I still need to finish, but I thought it would be interesting to pull this out, and then I'll pull it out again at the end of this illustration to see the differences, because like I said, this one is a couple of years old now. Even though I still really do like it, I'm going to do it a lot different. I want to give her a really fair complexion. I want to give her the white blonde hair, hopefully, and I've not decided with the dragon, because I tried to get, let me show you, I tried to get the colours right for Cyrax, which is Rhaenyra's dragon in House of the Dragon, and I did draw my own, and I've not finished this one at the bottom, so ignore that, but I've done the details on the top one, and I tried to get the colours, and I'm not 100% happy with it, not the colours anyway. So I don't know if I'm going to do a golden dragon with the blonde, might look really nice, or go with the traditional Drogon black and red. I'm not sure yet. I am leaning more towards the golds, I think. Don't know with the background. I might do just a watercolour. This paper is, I think it's 180 GSM, and it's not a branded one, it's just one off Amazon. If I can find it I will link it in the description, but that's the paper that I like. I like this over, if you've ever tried the Strathmore coloured pencil paper, I really don't like that stuff. And this is cheap as chips, and you know, you can get a lot of it for your money. So yeah, I've only just noticed as well, like, I've done two different eye colours, so I must have been undecided. So they've got one gold and one purple eye. I do really like this, I just think I can probably do a little bit better now. I like the background, that must have been some sort of ink, let me check. So alcohol ink, I've based it, and it does look like that it's ink as well here. So it's a well loved and well used book, this one. I've got so many finished pages and a couple of whips, but yeah, that is the set of art, and then other mixtures of PDFs and stuff in that. I was torn between this illustration and this one, and then I thought, you know what, I could probably colour this. I mean, try and ignore that where it says set of art. I could probably colour this if I wanted to do this illustration again. I have done this one and I based it off Daenerys, and she has got lovely white blonde hair, but when I did this one, the paper was on like a beautiful tan toned recycled mixed media paper. Oh, I loved it, I absolutely loved it. I can't afford to buy the set of art anymore. I know that she's got other ones in that paper. Yeah, it's not in my price range anymore, but yeah, I thought I could colour that one again maybe, and we can do a comparison. Now, I don't know how many parts this video will be in. I might do maybe a section of her, show you the colours and the technique. By the way, it's early morning when I'm filming this, and it is cold. It is cold now in the UK, and it's definitely feeling autumn vibes. So yeah, I'll probably do a section of her, and then like bring it down, explain what I'm doing, show the colours, and then do it as a little bit of a time lapse for you, and maybe speak over. I'm filming videos now that I personally like to watch. I don't watch hours and hours of YouTube anymore. I just don't. I tend to watch Netflix and Disney Plus. So I am doing videos from now on, the videos that I would personally like to sit down and watch myself, and I think that'd be quite interesting. Even like if I did the head and then a portion of the tail for you, and then show you the rest of it as a time lapse. And same with the skin, I could always do half of her face in real time and then fast forward the rest for you and explain what I'm doing that way. So I've not even decided what media I'm going to use. I'm umming and ahhing. I think I'm going to do the hair first, so we'll get the hair done first. I'll try and get the hair done, and then possibly maybe even the dragon or the skin, and then we can work on the other parts in part 2 if that's what I decide to do. Don't know yet, don't know. So don't come for me if it's all in one part because I've got carried away. But yeah, I'm going to pick out all of my supplies and get everything sorted. So I've just pulled out my Black Widow pencils. Now I thought I'd film the process, what's going on through my head now. Now if I start colouring this in the blondes, I've picked out these 4 colours, not 100% if they're right. I should have written down the colours when I did the other white hair, but I didn't. I think it helps if you've got like the paper is like a tan toned or the background's already done, because it makes the white hair stand out even more, and you can go over with a white gel pen or white acrylic paint to make the hair stand out even more, you know, to add the highlights. So I'm just thinking, if I pick these colours out now and I start doing the hair, it won't look as blonde, white blonde as I would like. So instead of doing the hair first, I want to keep these pencils out. I have got the 180 count, it's all the sets here. I will keep these pencils out, but I think the best thing for me to do, this is just the way that my brain works. I'm chucking pencils everywhere. Let me go here. I think I'm going to do the black acrylic background first. I'll do that off camera because that'll be incredibly boring for you to watch. I'll just be, you know, going around all of the illustration. I will take my time because I don't want to go over any of the lines as well. But it's just a really, really matte black background, and then that's giving me a nice base, I think. And then once I've got that, I'll be able to see that I've got a picture in my head, the way that I'm trying to explain it. I've got a picture in my head, and it's not, I can't get the colours on the paper at the moment because I'm just not seeing it. So I think if I do the background first, and then possibly maybe even the dragon, and get them out of the way, because I do want them golds, yellows, oranges, autumn colours, I suppose, autumn colours. I think once that's out of the way, the hair will really stand out, opposed to if I do it now, you're probably going to think, I'm not doing that, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time because it won't look much different from the rest of the illustration. So I think that's the way that I'm going to go. I don't usually share my process the way that I think, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'll get the background done, and then we'll come back and then start Cyrax. That's him. That's her. Her. She's an egg layer. It's a her. So already. Now I would say with the Black Widow pencils, it's definitely worth you swatching your colours out, because let's say this one for instance, this is from the Monarch set and it's called Green Tea. Now if that looks green, that to me, that does look green, but if you look at it on the chart, I'm not going to be able to find it now. There it is, Green Tea. It is a green, but it's like a browny green almost. So like olive undertones maybe. So I think that'll work nicely. Yeah, I will just tell you the colours, and then you'll be able to see as we go along what I'm using. I do wish, and I think actually they've brought the older sets out with the new tips. So maybe when I've gone through these, I'll get a new set so they're all matching, because I just think it's irritating. I prefer having the colour at the end of the barrel, and then I can see what the colour is as I'm going. Anyway, the lightest colour I've chosen is gold, and that's the Cobra set, and then we've got the Scorpion set, Honeycomb, and then we've got light bronze from the Monarch, another one from the Monarch which is Green Tea, and then we've got the Dragon set which is Brown Brick, and then we've got, I think this is the Skin Tone set, yeah, Skin Tone set, and it's Midnight. So I just thought I'd use these pencils because I've not pulled them out in a very, very long time, so I thought it was about time that I used them. And why I decided to buy a white matte, I don't know, because it's already filthy. I've already washed it once. First time I used it, I spilt green ink on it. So anyway, we'll start off with the head, I think. I think I'll colour the head and then colour a portion of the tail. Do the rest of the time lapse just so you can get an idea of how I do it. Now I have had to trim off the bottom and trim off the side because it wasn't the full page, and it was weird with the paint. But the paint is completely dry now, so we can go ahead and start. The one thing I've not got is my little fan brush. So we'll get that, and it's full of glitter. Can you see that? Full of glitter. So I'll bring you down even more, I think. That should be okay. Now I've not decided on the eye colour yet, and I do need to find a reference photo. I should have probably done that beforehand, but I'm going with the sort of colours that I think that she is, but I'll do my own twist on it because I won't be able to get it identical anyway, so that's my excuse, my own twist. But all I'm doing here is, can you see in Mariola's pages, it's very, I wouldn't call this grayscale, it's if a grayscale picture and a line art picture had a bit, this is what it'd be. A good mixture of the two. A good mixture of the two, because Mariola's put down where she thinks the shading should be, the shadows, so it makes it so much easier. So much easier. So where there are no shadows, I'm adding the lightest colour, just a really light layer. Just all over where the light areas are, just to get a colour down. But you can see already with the black background, it makes the illustration pop. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna 100% leave it black. I might do, I might not. I might add some pan pastels over the top, maybe some glitter. Depends what mood I'm in the day that I end up finishing this page. So it all depends. I do like the look of just a black background. I think it's nice and simple, and it's just effective. So if you ever just leave it black, don't feel guilty that you've not done a background, because that is a background. That is a background. So really light layers, swirling motions, because I don't want any harsh lines anywhere. Be a little bit more careful where the black is, because this black picks up the pencil so much because it makes the paper sort of rough. So if I did a line on there, you couldn't rub it off, even with a normal pencil. So you do have to be a little bit careful. So I suppose that it probably is a better idea to do the black background last. If I was just colouring this off camera in my own time, I would have done it at the end. But I wanted you to see what it looks like at the very start, opposed to waiting. But I don't know if I mentioned as well, it was the Americana Deco Art black acrylic paint that I used, and it works a treat. One layer does the trick. So I think I'm happy with that initial layer. Now I'm going to work from light to dark and then switch it up, then go from dark to light and just pick up the colours as I see fit. So that was the gold, and then we've got honeycomb, which I don't know if this is going to be the right shade. Like I said, you need to look at the swatches, you really do. So with this colour, I'm going over where all the shadows are, where Mariola's already put them down for us, so we know where to place this colour. And then that very lightest shade that we used, what was it? It was gold. We'll use that to blend towards the end. And if it's not as blended as I would like, I'll either use a blender pencil or some odorless mineral spirit. Again, it depends what mood that I'm in. And I don't know if my arm will be able to take it. I've been having issues with my elbow all weekend, so I might not be able to use a blender pencil, so we'll see. So just filling in all the shadows. I'm using quite a hard pressure here because it's a light pencil colour, you can get away with it. All about the layers. So be a little bit lighter handed here. Just pulling the colour up. You could do this with any colours. You just want to start from your light to medium to dark. You can make it a pink dragon. I think that other one was like a pinky silver colour. Or was it purple? Just noticed that one of his little teeth there snapped. I wonder if that's meant to be on purpose. Or maybe it's my printer. Not the best printer in the world, so that's definitely possible. Right, so we're going with the, it looks like green to me, they do look like green, light bronze. I did have another pencil, where was it? It was olive brown, and let me just show you this pencil because I've had nothing but issues with it. I've even given up now. I did want to use this, but I've not even coloured with this. It just constantly kept snapping and snapping and snapping. I am aware that I can contact the owner of the company. I think I did that with one other colour. I think it might have been forest, or it was missing from one of the sets and they sent that out. But it was a very, very long time ago now that I purchased that pencil, so maybe it'd be void, I don't know. Yeah, so it's showing up more yellow on camera, where in real life it really does look like a green shade. So going over all of the shadows again now, light to medium pressure. I don't want any lines like I'm doing here at the bottom. You just get to a point where you go, right, well, I'm happy with that, so no more layers. No more layers, and then start the blending process. I'm hoping that I don't have any issues on camera with these pencils. Like I said, I've shown you that one. And I've had numerous issues with other pencils not sharpening or constantly snapping. But if you have watched me before, you know that I am quite heavy-handed with coloured pencils, so it could be, and it probably is, my own fault for being a little bit heavy-handed. But it's nice to use these, considering I've not used them in a very, very long time. I really like that colour actually. It's going to work out perfect, I think, for what I'm after. Now, like I said, I don't remember what colour her eyes were, so I'm going to have to look at a reference. Now, there's no shadow there then that I just added that colour. I just think there should have been a shadow there because it looks like that the scales, like over where the eyebrow would be, is a little bit more pronounced than like the jaw. So I think there would have been a shadow there. So I'm going to add my own. A little bit down here. I'll probably do the teeth in like a brilliant white colour, so I can leave it mostly as it is, because this is meant to be a young dragon, isn't it? So I'm happy with that for now, so I can move on. I don't think there's going to be much difference, to be honest, between this one, the other one, and this one, which is the green tea from the Monarch set as well. So you might not be able to notice much on camera. I can see it, just about. And I do want to bring this shadow down a little bit further. Don't want it to be a huge highlight there. And I'll probably do the same around the forehead as well. It's nice to be colouring this page again, because like I said, it's a long time since I have. Have you got this PDF? I will link it in the description down below from Mariola's Etsy store, just in case that you do want to download it and you want to colour along with me. If you do colour along with me, I would love to see your either progress pictures or finished pages as well on Instagram. I always leave all the details down below. Really, really light here. And then we've got the brick brown. Now like I said, I would have liked to use that saddle brown, but I've had nothing but issues, so this is the one that we're going for. I'm just going to test it. So that's a little bit more red than I would have wanted. So I'll use a really light layer. There is a colour actually called Dungeon. Let me just check that one. Because that one looks like it's got a bit of a... Oh, it's a good job I checked that. So I'm not using the brick brown, I'm going to use Dungeon. So I'm going to give this a little sharp and I'll do that off camera. So it was a good job that I checked that, wasn't it? So where is it? It's the Dungeon. Let's start deepening this up a little bit. So it's sort of like flicks of your wrist. You know when you're colouring hair and you want them hair strokes? Exactly like that. Try my best not to be too heavy handed because I don't want the pencil to snap. And his tongue, I didn't check the tongue. So I will have to look for a reference picture and then come back and finish the tongue off. And I have got a black pencil as well, which is called Midnight, to just deepen it up a little bit more. And then we can start going ahead and going backwards in the colours just to blend it out a little bit. Let's maybe add some shadows here. Around his eye. Pull that colour up ever so slightly, and I am going to use it. Was it tea? Was it tea? Green tea around the eye here. And underneath where I've created that shadow, and possibly some up here as well, because the same as this here, I don't want it to be really light here. I'm going to have to pull some of the more greeny colours out a little bit. Around the snout. Is that what they call it on a dragon? A snout? Or is that just on dogs? Looks like it's got a little moustache. Right, so I want to go in with the Midnight now, which is the black. This is the skin one, yes it is. Darken some of these areas up even more. This will be our darkest colour. Maybe a little bit around the gums as well. Just darken that area up a little bit more. Oops, a daisy. See, there we go, there's our first casualty. And you saw I wasn't pressing really hard. So I'm not going to sharpen it, I'll just pick the other black out that I've got, which is from the original set, and it's just called Black Widow. Well, at least I caught that on camera. That's one of the things that stopped me from using these pencils, even though I do really like them, how they lay down, how they blend out, everything. Just the fact that they break like that. It gets a bit annoying. Right, so I think I've added enough for now. We'll switch to the light bronze. Just want to add a little bit more, you know, just so I'm covering some of the more of the white up of the paper. Don't want too many highlighted areas. A little bit more around the eye actually, because that would be in shadow as well. And the lighter green colour, which was the green tea. Just to further pull it out a little bit more. And I think I'm going to skip the honeycomb, because that was a little bit more orange, but we'll go to the cobra gold. This is from the Cobra set. And then basically fill in the rest of the dragon. And I'm hoping this will just blend it out and I don't have to use any, you know, do an extra step. Hopefully, I think it should be okay. So I'm using pretty much hard pressure at this point just to get it all blended out. Being careful again of the edges. You see there where I've gone over it a tiny little bit. That black acrylic really does pick up any pencil, especially if you're using a lighter shade. It'll show up a lot more. I don't want to sharpen this pencil because if I do I know it's going to snap because of the pressure that I'm using. Whoops a daisy, you see there as well, that's a perfect example right there. I've gone over it too much. No, don't worry about it. It happens. It's not the first thing that my eyes are drawn to, so it's fine. Right, so I'll move over to the tail now and I'll do a little portion to the tail and show you how I'm going to do that step by step. You can just see my broken pencil there. Really annoying, really annoying. So I think we'll do this portion here. So the same thing as what we did last time. So we need our lightest shade, which was the gold. We'll do this little section here. This will give you a good idea, but you will see the rest of the tail. Using medium pressure here, and I'll be able to do this little portion as well. Be careful of the edges where you've popped that acrylic paint if you are following along. So our next darkest shade was the honeycomb, and this is in the Scorpion set. And where Mariola's already put them shadows, so she's letting us know where to put the colours. This is why I love her pages. Love them, there's no guessing. You can just add to them as well, like what I did just here. And then the next one was the green tea, and that's in the Monarch set. Well, I say, out of all the pencil sets that Black Widow came out of, the Monarch one was my favourite and still is my favourite. You'd think it might have been the Dragon one, but no. It's the Monarch one that I really like. And then it was light bronze, again the Monarch set. And then, was it Dungeon? Yep, and this one is from the Dragon set. So light hair strokes. Pulling the colour into the middle and then leaving a highlight in the very centre. A little bit awkward doing this. If I was doing this in my own time, the paper would be upside down probably at this point. But for filming purposes, I will keep it like this. And the very darkest one, we did start off with Midnight and then I switched to the Black Widow colour. And then going in with that lightest shade, which was gold. Yep, gold from the Cobra set. And blending this out. I'm going to see what it looks like once it's blended out. I might add a tiny little bit more colour to the centre. Maybe some of that light bronze. Just so there's not too much of the light colour showing through. And it was this one, wasn't it? It was. We've got a Nina. I apologise, but I've been calling it a Nina for 16 years. Since my son was born, so it's always going to be a Nina. Fire engine. And that's how I'm going to colour this scales. Now, again, you're going to see how I'll do the wings. I've not 100% decided yet, but when I come back to show you the finished dragon, I will explain what I've done with her wings.
Another night, I fall in your sight. Your new eyes cut sharp like a knife.
So that's the whole of the dragon coloured. I'm just going to finish off the eyes now. Now I have looked at a reference picture, and one of them's, it's got yellow eyes, and then another orange, and then another blue, then another red. So I'm going with like orange with a greeny tint. It's the same green, the tea green as I've used on the dragon. I'll probably use that colour to blend out. So we've just got like a quarter of an eye, and then this side to do. But I love how it's turned out. It was a bit of a challenge. Like I said, I'm having issues with my elbow, and now it's going into my wrist. So this was a bit of an issue blending it out. So I'm glad it's done now. I'm glad it's done. So I'm going in with the base layer of Sunset. I will just mention as well, I at the end went over the top of the nails because I accidentally went over the claws at the top with the same colour. I didn't initially want to do that. I wanted to do them a different colour, but doesn't matter, still goes, it's fine. It's not the end of the world, so it's fine. So yeah, I just went in at the end and just filled them in so they were matching. And I've noticed as well there's a bit of black there that I should have done as the background, so I'll be able to go in with a little pen and fix that. And this one's Dragon Breath from the Dragon set. I'll do a little bit here, and then bring the colour inwards with the eye. Now I'm not going to add any highlights to the eye or the scales or anything until the picture is completely finished, and that's when I'll decide where I want to add highlights with either a gel pen or an acrylic paint pen, or even just acrylic paint. I'm not sure yet. So I don't think this green's going to show up much. I'll use the green to blend out instead of the orange. And then I've got a Black Widow, which is just the black shade. Just for darken it up ever so slightly. So the way that I'm going to do it is the next part of the video I'll do either, obviously do either her or the skin. I'll decide that when I start that part. And then the next part will be the opposite of what I've not done. So it will be a 3-parter, so I hope that you don't mind, and I hope that it's okay that I just filmed, you know, this in real time and that, and then showed you the rest via time lapse, because I think you get the idea, don't you? You get the idea. So let's blend out with that green shade, and I might switch over and use maybe polychromos for the hair and Prismacolor for the skin, and just completely mix it up maybe. But that is the dragon done now. That is it, completely done. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Yeah, really chuffed with that. But thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy any part of the video, please leave me a big like, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.